Okay. Once again, we'll just start this over, Anthony, because once again, you gave me dimensions for this box. So let's freeze transforms here. You gave me, 10.6. What the? No, I wanted this. 10.6, 12.7, and 17.6. So I already have that box the right size. Let me just scale it down now, so I'm not breaking my limits here. But that's basically, what the dimensions that you've given me there. Now that may just be the interior, because it seems like it's a little bit deeper than that, maybe. That may just be the structure of the microwave. Okay, but we can, grab all of our faces here once again, rock a bevel on this thing, get some segments in there. Okay, get that curvature in there, And once again, perception-wise, it feels like that back is flat. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, is just flatten it out. I'm just going to grab this shape here, detach the component, and delete these back faces. No more use for that. We're just going to flatten this guy out, fill a hole back here. Now there's probably some kind of rim that's happening back there. So we can extrude the faces in, kind of pull on the thickness here. Nope, it's offset. Offset's what I want. I get these mixed up every once in a while. So let's give this outer frame some thickness. Let's repeat that extrusion, push it back in a little bit, because you're probably going to be dealing with something like this. Right? Now, here's another thing that you want to keep in mind. The more that we separate our model out, the better, okay? If we leave this thing connected, then everything we do in here transfers to the rest of the model. So here's something I'm going to do for you, is we're going to grab this edge, or let's just grab the whole face, and I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to hit detach component, and that's going to, if I press separate here, you'll see now that my face is not attached to that model anymore. So now I have this whole new face to work with, and everything I do to this face is not going to influence the rest of the model. Very nice. So where are my vertices at here? I'm just going to try to connect all these guys together. Keep this shape going. I'm sliding my multi-cut all the way to the end here to where it actually connects to that last vertice that we find there. All right, and there are some vertices in here. I wonder if triangulating will fix that. Yeah, just hit triangulate. It should put it in the right direction for you. Nice and clean. Okay, so I got those faces. We're making a box there now. Oftentimes there's probably like a little extrusion in the back there where there's like some kind of generator or something kind of poking out. So we can support something like that. We can do, you know what, like let's isolate this face here. I want this thing to hold. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extrude these edges and give this thing some thickness. And then we're just going to, you generally want to start off with bevels. Holding edges are only good for the, holding edges are only good for the high res. They don't help the game res out. So if you wanted this to be part of the game res, it's important to start off with bevels first. So now if I hit 3, we're pretty much going to have that structured shape there, because we're definitely going to be working with 3 mode if we're going to get some organic shapes here. I'm going to split this guy in half here and see if I can like measure out like a little extrusion. And grab shapes like this here and extrude that out. Yeah, probably something like this is probably going to happen back there, right? If I hit 3, yeah, it's not the best. Put some holding edges in here, but nothing too crazy that's going to, make some weird shapes. That doesn't seem too bad. You probably, what you do need is you need some kind of holding edge right here. Keep that shape going, right? Probably another one over here. There we go. That seems kind of like a bent piece of metal, right? You can, you're free to pull some of these guys out too here. Just like a little bit of a generator extrusion there. That way all the pieces kind of come out. Okay, and here's floating geometry. So this is what I'm going to kind of show to you. This is what we're working with here in Miles in the 1.4 activity. So let's say, for instance, we have some holes back here now, okay? You probably have some kind of exhaust on this thing where fumes can come out of the back. Okay, so let's see if we can model holes on this thing without actually touching the back face there, okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to fake this thing with floating geometry. I'm going to make a cylinder. Once again, additive and subtractive modeling, right? So that form is basic, that hole is a circle, it's a cylinder. It's just turned inside out. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. I think that's about the right shape and size that we want to deal with. Okay, I'm going to grab this shape here and detach. Now I'm just using detach component to separate the shapes out so I don't have to like sit there and try to select the faces out. Okay, so that's my hole started up here. Let's put a little bit of a slant. You want to taper those holes, right? You don't want them to be, you want more of a Reese's cup, right? You don't want a Rolo. I'm going to flip these faces around here so we can see. Whoop. There we go. So we can see what exactly we're working with here. I'm going to extrude the edge out, and you'll see this illusion happen here. Let's make all of this that blend material too. Get it all shiny, right? I'm going to bevel these guys so that we get some cleaner edges, right? This is going to be a normal map effect, so it doesn't matter how much geometry we really use for it. Okay? But you can see, once we get all the depth out of this thing and we push it up against that other surface, where is it? There we go. So just push it up against the surface as close as you can. And now we successfully have a hole on that model. Okay? If these shapes are combined together, that detail is going to bake onto the normal maps. It'll bake onto this game res back here. So we're pretty much faking that effect just by floating topology on. Let's make a grid now. Let's make a grill on this thing. I'm gonna delete history, freeze transformations, make this thing easier for us here. Let's get ourselves a good distance and just duplicate this thing out here. Okay. I'm gonna combine these together. Duplicate and offset. Okay. Duplicate. Let's offset this way. You know, you could just duplicate these guys and keep that going, and just kind of delete what you don't want at the end. So if you make yourself a big old grill, then you can kind of delete what you don't want there. Just kind of eyeball it, you know, just kind of offset them so it makes like that staggering kind of brick pattern effect there. And there we go.